Okay, good morning. My name is Subhash. I will be taking your geography classes, right? Along with Jojo sir and Manish sir. Now, at this time you are basically preparing for mains, right? Or pre? Pre. Never prepare for pre-exam. ठीक है? Pre अगर तैयारी करेगा तो pre भी नहीं होगा. Always prepare for first mains exam. Okay, and when your preparation is finished, right from after February onwards, you can go for pre-exams. उसके पहले pre मत पढ़ो. There is never a preparation of pre. Pre is a part of your mains only. So first take the concepts. This is the basic mistakes which students do, that they just go for studying for pre and they just start the mugging up of the facts. It is not required. How many of you have finished optionals? Any idea? So you are going to appear in 2025. And how many of you have finished your optionals? Koi nahi. So what is the difference? What is the gap between the pre-examination and mains examination? 70-80 days? And do you think that you will be able to prepare optional in that recess time or gap time? Your optional must be finished by February 25 if you want to really appear in 2025. See, 10 lakh candidates fills up the form, right? 5 lakhs takes the exam. 5 lakh छोड़ देता है डर के, because they were already preparing for the pre-exams only. And what is the basic, how many students are basically competent enough to give the exam out of those 5 lakh? Only 60,000. They are competitive enough to take the exams. The rest, they are just a time pass. Attempt दे के देखते हैं क्या होगा. Let us just take the exam. So this must not be your idea for your preparation. This is a very wrong strategy which you are following. Always prepare for the mains. Then from February onwards, you can go for taking up the few of the objective questions. How many have you done even answer writing practices? किया है? चलो ठीक है. देखते हैं क्या होता है आगे. So we are going to take up most of the topics which are current and it is relevant. And remember, till 2025 or 2026 even, they will be the most prominent topics from the geography. Some of the topics which I am going to cover is from the science and tech also, which is in news. But we are going to go for the detailed analysis. At the same time, when there is a question, if you can remember, substantiate that answer with some of the facts. Okay, so for facts, I have gone for the detailed study of your census, and these data are from your census itself. ठीक है, तो कुछ डेटा आपको याद रखना चाहिए और प्री के तरीके से पढ़ना बंद करो, किसी का सिलेक्शन नहीं होगा फिर. ठीक है, what do you expect? How many score you want to get in GS? कितना स्कोर करना चाहता है आउट ऑफ 1000? बिल्कुल मत बोलना. Except from him and him. चलो बताओ. What do you want to? How many score you want to get in GS out of 1000? Am I from Mars और जुपिटर? हिंदी में बोलूं? English class है. How many marks you want to score in your GS class or GS section out of 1000? What is your expectation? No answers. मैं सिंपल ये पूछ रहा हूं कि आप 1000 में से कितना नंबर स्कोर करना चाहते हो. Is it clear to you all? Am I audible? जोर से बोलूं और What is your answer now? Tell me, come on. Around 750 out of? Where are you from, dear? Bro, you are on next level. 750 alone in GS. Any more expectations? The average score is 280. Okay? And if you are going to get 400, you will be in top 10. At the 750 score, it is the final selection score. अकेले GS से clear कर जाएगा. But in optional, you can score up to 350. So in GS, it is approximately 28%, which is the average one. You may score up to, I'm not saying you are not going to score, ठीक है. If you are good at it, you can score up to some 350, 400, that is 40%. But in optional, still you can secure some 65 to 70%. Your focus must be on optionals first, along with your GS section. See, my last attempt was in 2010. In our times, we had 2 optionals. And GS was of 600 marks. Still in that time also, the average score was 280. जिसको 330 आता था, वो top का होता था. So your expectation is too high. What's your name? Tarif. Spell it. I'm sorry, I'm very bad in pronunciating the name of Northeast and South India because I'm from the North India itself. So your expectation will never be fulfilled. Because in next coming 100 years, even if this is the system of or the pattern of the UPSC exam, nobody can score 750 in GS. Nobody can. भूल ही जाओ, दिमाग से उतार दो. To prepare for mains, have that sort of a thing. And from pre onwards, you can go for preparing for pre-exam. Oh, sorry, Feb onwards. ठीक है, pre करेगा तैयारी, pre भी नहीं होगा. And try to come within that range of 50 to 60,000 candidates who are competitive. Never be the part of rest 4,50,000 students who are really non-serious one. If you really want to clear, और यूपीएससी में पढ़ना पड़ता है until unless you are not a पूजा खेड़कर. ठीक है? Please. So first section which I am going to take up, which is in news, is your rural migrants. This is in news and it is one of the prominent topic for last 2 years. It has different aspects. We are going to study it. See, migration is not a new phenomenon. Even if you are going to look for our evolution, migration has taken place in historical times also. In history, obviously, if you are going to date back, our first humanoid or a sort of a thing which we evolved from the chimpanzees, it can be traced up to some 3 lakhs year only. And it was in the region of Africa. And obviously at that time was of ice age, so the regions were interconnected. So this is the route of a migration. But when I say कि migration, लिखो मत. अब कोई इतनी जल्दी क्या है? क्या लिख रहा था वो? बस इंट्रोडक्शन था. So when I say term migration, there are many terms which are used interchangeably, right? For example, it is circulation. Then you can say commutation. Then it is term wandering. Then it is term traveling. Then it is term migration. For example, I stay in Ghaziabad, okay. So if I have come from Ghaziabad to Delhi, Karol Bagh Center, have I migrated? So out of these terms, which one is going to define it? No. It is commutation. So can you differentiate between the terms? What is wandering? It is traveling aimlessly. That means your destination is not fixed. Have you done it in your life? Ever? For example, you have taken your bike or a scooty and you are just moving at any places. You don't know where you want to reach. And sometimes wandering is going to help you spiritually also. Okay? Then what is traveling? In traveling, the destination is fixed. Then the term comes commutation. So as you said, what's your name, dear? Priyanshi. So how you said I have commuted? Exactly. So in commutation, suppose I have traveled from Ghaziabad to Delhi and today itself I am going to go back to my house. Okay? My place of residence in a single day of traveling is not changed. It is termed as commutation. Then what is migration? Sorry, circulation. First term is circulation. Now suppose I have come to Delhi and let's say my friends are living in Vasant Kunj and we have decided to go for a party. Okay, so obviously when I'm in a party, I cannot go back to my house because of certain reasons. Okay, there is a concept of C2H5OH. So what I'm going to do for, I'm going to reside at my friend's place. I am traveling from Ghaziabad to Delhi, but I am not going back to my house. My place of residence, or being a temporary reason, it is changed. So if I am not residing in Delhi, then it is called circulation. But if I am going to go for, let's say at Shillong Center for more than 6 days, 7 nights, then it will be considered as migration. If I am not moving or if my place of residence is not being changed for more than 6 days and 7 nights, then it will be circulation. So for migration, this criteria must be there. I must be moving outward for more than 6 days or 7 nights. Now, obviously, if I am moving to Shillong or your Itanagar, I am going to stay there for only 10 days or 15 days. So this is a sort of a semi-permanent migration. I am not permanently moving there. And that is the different types of migration, but we are not going to study it here right now. We are going to study in your theoretical classes. Okay? So write down. Wandering is aimless travel wandering. Planets wander. The term planet itself means wandering. Wandering means aimless travel where destination is not fixed. Where destination is not fixed. If a person moves but his place of residence, his or her place of residence is not changing in a single day, it is termed as circulation. It is termed as circulation. Commutation. It is termed as commutation. If a person moves out And if a person moves out and his place of residence is changed, it is termed as circulation. If a person moves out, for more than 6 days, 7 nights, it is termed as migration. Now there are different types of migration. अभी उसको नहीं पढ़ना है. There is international migration, national migration, regional migration, intra-regional migration, inter-regional migration, rural to urban, urban to rural, rural to rural and urban to urban. बहुत सारा टाइप होता है उसका. The migration is basically dependent upon two factors. ठीक है? One is pull factor, another one is push factor. So what is a pull factor? Where are you from? Okay, fine. You are from Tamil Nadu, na? So why you moved to Delhi for education? That means, do you think that Tamil Nadu lacks the education? No. Then you are here for preparing the civil services. So Tamil Nadu does not have any prominent centers such as your old Rajendra Nagar. So is it a push or a pull? It is push from Tamil Nadu and pull for Delhi. So always remember, push factor from one place becomes the pull for another. Most of you are from the northeast region, जो मुझे लग रहा है देखने में, ठीक है? So why you are in Delhi? Again for that lack of education. Though Shillong Center is there, Itanagar Center is there, Manipur Center is there. I have visited those places for taking classes. Medical facilities. Is it a push or a pull? It is a pull. Always remember, naam bhul gaya. Keshav. Pull for one is push for another. But people generally move towards the resource center. And resource can be anything. Be it education, be it your medical facilities, be it your job opportunities. For example, I am from Bihar. Okay, I came to Delhi in some 2003. Why? Obviously, the same reason, preparation for civil services. And now I am permanently residing here, though I didn't have, and I never had given a thought that I am going to live in Delhi. But why I am not returning back to Bihar? Because I cannot get a job opportunity there. It's a simple thing. So my migration, which was for a temporary reason, for a temporary period, it has converted into permanent migration. But remember one thing, if there is a natural calamities, it is essentially a push factor. For example, if there is an earthquake, your homes are destroyed, you move to other places. During flood, drought, tsunami, people generally migrate from one place to another. For example, the region of the Assam, it almost floods twice a year. In North Bihar, it is always a flood situation in rainy season. People cannot grow more than one crop. So people tend to migrate from one place to another. So natural calamities are essentially the push factor, whereas resource or opportunity is always a pull factor. For example, if I am going to move to Bihar, I have my own house. Obviously, the standard of living is low as compared to Delhi. But even if you are going to earn some 1 lakh in Bihar, it is equivalent to 3 lakhs in Delhi. I own my own house there, but still I'm not going there. That's a very simple thing. Okay? Write it down. Migration is based on push and pull factor. Where push of one place becomes pull for another. Now, this is the basic introduction of migration. Remember Corona? Have you seen the picture of migration in those times? क्या हुआ था? People were in fact sleeping on the railway track and they died. ठीक है? So migration during the Corona times was the factor of calamities. That was the spread of disease, right? Now the topic which you have to take is the rural to urban migration. This is in current affairs right now. Okay? Write it down. Rural to urban migration. First, we are going to go for some stat. Released in July, write it down, it's a factual one. Released in July 2019. Released in July 2019. Census data shows a substantial increase in internal migration in India. The total number of internal migrants increased from 309 million. 309 million. See, now this is the data and you need to play it with. For example, you may not remember exactly 309 million. So you can write it down approximately 300 million or 310 million. तो ये डेटा एग्जैक्ट नहीं याद रहेगा, 300 याद रहेगा, 300 लिख के अप्रॉक्स लिख दो, बस हो गया. It has increased to from 309 million or 300 approx million in 2001 to 450 million in 2011. Basically, I am the one for the permanent migration, increasing from 52 to 78 million person. Increasing from 52 to 78 million person. The growth is more seen in rural to urban migration. In fact, from 2001 to 2011, women migration for work and business, has increased rapidly as compared to men. The states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, West Bengal, उड़ीसा, मध्य प्रदेश. See, I am writing down some prominent states. ठीक है, इतना याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Even if you are going to write down the name of 2 to 3 states, it is okay. Are the sending state? While Maharashtra, Delhi, Gujarat, Haryana, Karnataka, and Punjab are receiving state. These specific cities are Delhi NCR region, Pune, Bangalore, Navi Mumbai, Hyderabad, सोनीपत, पानीपत, फरीदाबाद, नोएडा, and Greater Noida. In fact, there is a very prominent increasing trend in your northeastern region. Which city is the fastest growing city in your northeast? It is Guwahati. So Guwahati expanding like anything. It is the entrance of the northeast region and it is also in expansion. Now these migrants, abhi likhna mat. For example, if I'm going to draw a line mid in between of India, we can see that the eastern part of India is supplying labor to the west. And our focus is on rural to urban migration. So why this rural to urban migration is occurring? And what are its impact? Question is pe पूछेगा. So why there is an increasing trend in rural to urban migration? Focus on this topic only. बताओ, let's discuss. जितना डिस्कस करोगे उतना समझोगे. Why better opportunity? See, in 2000, during 2001 or 2, as I remember my best, in fact, the Kalam launched a program called Pura, providing urban amenities in rural areas. So better opportunity, even if you are going to look for the opportunity, it varies from person to person. For example, if you are going to talk to me at this age of 40, most of my friends wants to stay away from Delhi NCR. There must be some reason. I really want to go back. Because in Bihar, obviously I have a much cleaner weather system, much pure drinking water and so on. So what type of opportunity? And rural to urban migration mein dhyan rakhna. It is the labor class which is going to migrate first. Rural to urban migration mein hamesha jo hoga, it is the labor class. If I am going to move, I will be in urban to urban migration. And urban to urban migration is for professionals. If I am going to move from urban to rural place, then it will be for a sort of a village or eco-tourism purpose. I am not moving there for the permanent residence. So think about the labor class. Why they are migrating? Better income, okay? And in industry, skilled labor is required. Again, if you are going to go for the industry, ये आपको पढ़ना है आगे, ठीक है? I know you have not studied geography till date. Yeah, I think history is going on, na? But this is the basic thing. I'm still talking about the things which is happening in the rural areas. Have you visited any rural areas? Have you seen a series called Panchayat? A very prominent one. So the Sachiv ji friend came to that rural place and he was clicking the picture of a cow dung. and in front of buffalo he was like doing like this yo. Even during this season of mango and during the season of your summer vacation, my niece, she visited my house, and she was surprised that buffalo also gives milk, and she is standard 9th student. She was shocked to see कि काला रंग का buffalo है वो उजला रंग का दूध दे रहा है. तो specifically I told one of my worker कि उसको ले जाओ दिखाओ जाकर पूरा. I was taking class in Delhi itself, and a girl simply said कि sir, how these red and yellow capsicum or a bell pepper is grown? Is it for real thing? So in next class, I took that red bell pepper and black red and yellow one to see it is real. It grows on plants. So think about rural sector. Why this migration is increasing? Those labor who are working in the field for agriculture, why they are moving out? First thing, now you are getting the points. What's your name? Chiki. Chiki बोलूंगा चलो ठीक है. The first thing is, there is agriculture, which is a seasonal practice. You need to work for the harvesting season or the sowing season. What the rest time these workers are going to do? Even most of the migrants who work in the field of Punjab and Haryana, they are from Bihar. And this is the reality. And agriculture productivity is decreasing due to the climate change. So when I started preparing for UPSC, 70% of the workers were employed in agriculture. And after some 20 years, at present time, only 52% workers are employed in agriculture activity. That means substantially we have seen that the agriculture productivity has declined, which has resulted into escalation of the agriculture commodities prices. For example, what is the price of tomato at present time? And of onions, that is 75. घर नहीं चलाया ना कभी. It is at present time 75 to 80, and most of the vegetables, they are costing above some 60 rupees per kg. ठीक है? So there is a net decline in agriculture, which is a result of climate change also. Any more thing? Income inequality is one of the part. Casteism related. क्या बात करती हो? अभी haven't you heard about the UP government message? It is a political one, though still each and every Muslim one person has to write down his name. And there are reports from the Muzaffarpur Nagar that the worker who are Muslim, they are not being employed for next 15 to 20 days. And caste system is rigid in India like anything. Even if you are going to visit the section of your Sant Nagar, Burari, there are the societies which are based on the caste system itself. Even in Patna, where I used to live in Rajiv Nagar, there is a Mithila Cooperative Society, where only the people from Mithilanchal can live. That was road number 14. Road number 6, it was only for the Rajputs. Road number 8, it was only for the Bhumihars, and so on. If you are going, see, this sort of a ghettoization is occurring in India also. Ambedkar Nagar, Valmiki Nagar, Jamia Nagar, सबका नाम देख लो वहां पे population check कर लो जाकर. It is occurring. So caste is dominant system. It is prevailed in all over India, throughout India, and it is also rigid in South India also. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ नॉर्थ ऐसा है. कास्ट को लेके पूरा इंडिया ही बर्बाद है. Though we have the 98% genetic similarity, even your 98% genes are similar to me. Only 2% is going to make a difference. So it is embedded in our culture itself. And what's your name? पायल. मुस्लिम साथ बैठ के एक थाली में खाना खाएगा? ईमानदारी से बताना. जो अमीर है कि गरीब है? ओ हाँ, अभी आ गया ना, अभी आ गया ना. Even if you are going to visit any Hindu house, if there is a Muslim which is going to have a food or a drink, they are going to have different sort of a plate and cutleries. तो आपके अंदर भी इनबिल्ट है, मेरे अंदर भी इनबिल्ट है. Now, any more reasons? That is again related with the economic factor itself. Any more factor? Upskills. See, laborers who are migrating, they seldom work in some transport industry or agriculture field or in some construction industry, where they go for the labor practices which does not require any specific skill. For example, if you are going to open a sort of a carpentry shop, or if you are going to open some sort of a plumbing things, then you need to be skilled. But if you are working in a construction, you have to carry down the cement only. Do you think that any skill is required there? Diverse employment opportunity at the urban center. That is correct. And any more thing? नहीं. क्या हुआ? सोचो. चलो लिखना शुरू करते हैं. रीजन फॉर रूरल टू अर्बन माइग्रेशन, एंड यू हैव टू राइट डाउन इन पॉइंट वाइज मैनर. 1 2 3 करके लिखना. फर्स्ट, income inequality is very high in rural centers. So in search of better income, people tend to migrate towards urban center. Second, urban center provides diverse job opportunities, which in a long term upgrade the skills. Such as plumbing, electrician, and so on. Third, there is net decline. There is net decline in agriculture productivity due to land degradation, lowering down of water table, due to land degradation, lowering down of water table, and climatic change. Fourth, the term climatic refugee is now gaining an importance. In climatic refugee, you have to write it in inverted commas. Is now gaining importance. These are those migrants from the rural areas who are migrating due to worsening of climate. Fifth, the rural areas are unable to generate employment opportunities. Sixth, the factor of food insecurity is increasing in rural India. See, you can remember one data that 83% of the kids in Bihar below 5 years are malnutritioned, and this data is approximately 64% for India. So 64% of kids below 5 years are malnutritioned. How many people in India are getting a food for one time in India? Only one time. How many percent? Any guess? Guess ही ले लो यार, क्या दिक्कत है? 40%, 20%. It is approximately 90 crores. That is more than your 50%. They cannot afford food for once a day. Obviously, food security is also a prominent aspect at present time, but in next class, I'm going to finish that thing. Okay? The last one, agriculture is a seasonal practice. It cannot provide employment throughout the year. So these are the major factors. Okay? Now, impact. So what impact you are seeing in Delhi and region round? Overpopulation, ठीक है. So if there is overpopulation in Delhi and NCR region, then there will be depopulation in the places from where the migration is taking place. For example, have you visited this CP line? Have you visited that Rajiv Chowk metro station? The people at any time there is more than the population of entire villages of mine. इतना ज़्यादा difference हो चुका है. At the same time, there is emergence of the ghost town in Uttarakhand. Because due to harsh climatic condition, they have migrated towards Delhi. So ghost town, that means there is no person who are residing there. They have left their villages, is appearing there. So population increase at one place is going to go for depopulation. ठीक है? Write it down, impact. First is overpopulation at urban center. This leads to depopulation at rural centers where there is emergence of ghost town. In Uttarakhand. Any more ideas? See, agriculture decline is one thing. It has led to the migration. Now, if people are going to migrate, agriculture is going to further decline. And decline in agriculture is directly related to your food security. Okay, write it down. The net decline in agriculture at rural places. Any more ideas? who are migrating? Labor class. They does not have that much of money. So when they are going to move towards the urban center, they develop slums. This is the picture of a slum of a Dharavi, and it's a sewerage pipeline system along which the houses are built, and this sewer system is used as road. Okay, so write it down. The rural migrants are not well off. So when they migrate to urban center, development of slums takes place. Now basically these working class are migrating towards for the employment purpose, right? Now suppose there are 3% who are in Delhi who are getting job, and for the same job number of 20% have arrived. So what is going to happen? Again, unemployment is going to increase at urban center. At present time, do you know what is the unemployment rate in India? It is 9.2%, which is the highest. And do you know what is the working force in India? Working force is basically 14 to 65. It is 95 crore. And in next 15 years, there will be addition of 40 crores. Itna log marega nahi. But they will be in working age group. 45 crore of the people have left looking for job. And the government has changed the definition of unemployment. If you are not seeking a job, you are not to be considered as unemployed. That's why government has launched a massive food security program. That is, they are providing free ration to some 80 crores of Indians. And 80 crore is more than half of your population. So what is the price of that food which the government is providing? क्या देता है फ्री राशन में सरकार महीने का? चावल. What is the price of that चावल? Rice. So do you think that government is going to give them Rajmahal basmati rice? कौन सा राइस देगा? पॉलिश बिल्कुल सस्ता वाला कितना का आएगा? 20 रुपया. How much kgs? 5 kgs. What is the cost? 100. Then there is pulses of 2 kg. What is the cost? If I'm going to take off the best quality, it will be around 200. तो बेस्ट क्वालिटी तो मिलेगा नहीं उन लोगों को, छोड़ दो. So it will be again 50 rupees per kg. There is a provision of a salt. ठीक है? So it is 20 rupees per kg. Then there is 1 liter of oil. So that is again some 120 rupees. और क्या देता है साथ में? And wheat depend करता है कहीं से. तो ले लो 100 rupees. That means it is 440. So your 80% of the population, 80 crore of the population, that is approximately 60% of your population is unable to earn 440 rupees per month. That's why they are taking free ration. Do you think that I am going to take that free ration? Though in India, if you are going to distribute free of the poison, there will be a number of people who will be taking it. That's the reality. India में free का issue करवा दो, भीड़ ही इतनी है. Even if the bulldozer is working, 10 people are going to stand in line. Okay, what it is happening in here? That's the reality. But remember one thing, that your 60% of population is even not able to earn this one. And those who are working, 60% of the population, those who are working, are earning below 10,000. 66% are earning below 15,000. And your 4% of the worker population, they earn more than 50,000. Only 1% earn more than 1 lakh. ये डेटा है आपका. So that means in 10,000 rupees, how you are going to survive? So obviously you have to live in slum. So there is more and more slum development, and ultimately if more and more people are going to reach for the same job, it is ultimately going to create a situation of unemployment. Now that's the reason the government is under scatter for that, right? Do you think that government can provide each and every job? 0.5% of population is in government job, though there are 35 lakhs of the seats which are vacant, and obviously a job can be created. I'm going to come to that in unemployment section. That's a different aspect. But each and every individual, if they are going to live by the government itself, the government is going to provide me a job, government is going to provide me a job. Even Manrega, it was basically used to stop the migration itself. But again, Manrega has very side effects. For example, what is the average agriculture income in Bihar? Can you guess? Guess to kar le. What is the average agriculture income in Bihar? Any answers? कुछ तो गेस कर, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 कुछ तो होगा. Annually or monthly, any guess? Thousand annually, it is 6,000 annually. That is 500 per month. Punjab has the highest agriculture income, that is 28,000 annually. Now in Manrega, if a labor is going to work in villages, he is going to get 350 rupees. It is 353 approximately in Bihar, and he is going to get this work for 100 days. So he is earning 35,000. Then why in Bihar any person is going to take up agriculture? In just 100 days or 3 odd months, he is going to earn some 35,000. And if you are going to work in agriculture field, it will be 6,000 annually. क्यों काम करेगा? So agriculture is again going to decline. But he is only working for 100 days. What about the rest days? So that employment opportunity has to be provided to them through different aspects. This is the work of the government. Though ठीक है, we have the non-biological one, but still he is not working there. ठीक है, write it down. Unemployment situation is going to occur at the urban places. Next, development of slums are increasing. Now slums has their own problem, which you have to study in your paper first. There is a topic of geography, urbanization and its issue. तो हम उसको वहां पर देखेंगे, ठीक है? Because slums has crime, they have a sanitation problem, they have education problem. Now generally, who is going to migrate from the rural sector? A males or a female? It is male who generally migrate. So female are left behind. Now if female is alone, again there is a problem of security to them, and this is occurring in the region of Vidarbha, that is your Maharashtra region, this eastern part of the Maharashtra, where there is mass migration of the labor class towards Mumbai or Pune. So female are left. Now they are insecure. There is a reason of increasing insecurity towards them. There is a net dropout of the female students from the schools. Why? Eve teasing, rape cases, they are increasing. So this is also the impact of rural migration. Write it down. Due to rural migration, male generally migrate towards urban center. Females are left behind. The concern of the security of the females are increasing. Next, stress on public utilities at the urban places. देख ही रहे हो मेट्रो में कैसे लोग जाते हैं, लोग आते हैं. You stand in the line of metro, you will be in and out. No need to take an effort. Just stand it at the gate. That is a behavior. See, in urbanization, you have to study that urbanization is a behavioral aspect. Urbanization is a structural aspect, and it is a demographic aspect. So if you want to see the behavior of a person, you can easily relate it with the metro. Every time they are going to announce, first let the passengers to deboard. कभी हुआ आज तक ऐसा? So that is a human behavior. The people who are using metro, I can say that 99% of them are educated. But in India, there is a difference between education and literacy. We are literate, we are not educated. Okay, what is the definition of literacy in India? Above 7 years, someone can read or write his name in any language. So our literacy rate is growing. But we are not educated. Okay, write it down next. Stress on public utility services. Just visit AIMS sometimes or visit Azadpur slum. You are going to feel that thing. What is the population of India? Okay. Now next. Is it leads to societal tensions? Yes. There is clashes between different communities. Okay. Based on the religion or the caste. It leads to the development of societal tensions. Riots. Frequently occurs. See, at the present time, we are living in a very grim situation. There were news of riots in India, and in UK, the Muslim and Hindus were fighting. यहाँ का वहाँ spread हो गया. To see how educated they also are. But again, we are Indians. We have only migrated there. So this is our tendency. Now, these are the negative aspects, right? You can also attach different more things. But if you are going to look for, this is the negative aspects of the migration. Is there any positive impact also? Of rural migration. Remember, I am talking about rural migration. Is there any positive impact? See, the only thing is diversification of the function, which your friend Chama, right, has told you. The only thing, the rest are all negative. This migration must be stopped. And that's why your urbanization model is not sustainable. In India, the urbanization is basically the result of rural migration itself. And that is why we have haphazard development. Do you think you are living in the posh colony? By definition, it is a slum. Okay. At the same time, migration leads to high economic boom from one reason and less economic boom from other reason. For example, if you are residing in Karol Bagh, what is your monthly expenses? Your house in which you are going to live, you might be getting a bed or sharing it with some roommate, and that is will be around near 15,000, right? To see the cost. अभी एक बार भी बीच में बोला नहीं, and you want to secure 750 marks in GS. Yeah? चलो. So this was the impact. ठीक है. The only thing is, the only positive aspect is कि you are going to get the diversification of the functions. You can learn those things. The rest is negative about rural to urban migration. Remember the topic. Urban to urban migration is beneficial because it is for the professionals. And at the same time, there is also increasing trend which I have written down कि females are more migrating. It is the factor of increasing education. We have to reverse it. It must be urban to rural migration. But generally it is seen that once you are going to get retired, then you are going to go there. But this trend is increasing, though very slowly. We generally move to the rural places for recreational, fun activities or tourism purpose. And then there is one aspect of rural to rural migration. It is also a higher phenomenon, but it is generally seen in the females who moves permanently after marriage. Another aspects of the migration we are going to see in the topic migration, that is in geography, right? How many words we have written? Except for the definition. Definition is not required. वो traveling जो बताया वो नहीं लिखना है एग्जाम में, उसको छोड़ दो. इम्पैक्ट और इसका ये बताओ रीजन कितना वर्ड में हुआ? 100. ठीक है. You have to finish on any answer in 150. उसके ऊपर exceed मत करना. Next topic, urban floods. Now recently you might have seen that there was a heavy rainfall in Delhi, though it is not a heavy rainfall, it is rainfall in Delhi, and all the region of the Delhi were flooded. ठीक है, अभी हुआ था. And it's a very frequent phenomenon in Gurugram. It is now occurring in Bengaluru, in Delhi or any urban places. Mumbai, it is almost flooded during the rainy season. Why it is occurring? Why these urban floods are there? Improper drainage systems, but we have a proper drainage system. Okay, fine. Any more answers? It is one of the reasons, but you are not getting that core. Or socho. See, India is termed as water thirsty land. And remember, we have many rivers, but still India is water thirsty land. Why? We have ample of rainfall. Any reasons? The rainfall in India is highly concentrated for 3 months during the monsoon season. So once the layer of the soil is saturated, the water is going to go for surface runoff. और surface runoff से क्या होगा? Ultimately the water is going to reach up to sea. It will be converted into saline water. So our initial days, or some 30 to 40 years ago, you can see that there were development of many ponds. This is termed as Pukhri in Assam, Tal, Bawadi, and so on. And that has been reclaimed for the living purpose. It is being filled, the land is reclaimed, and now illegal colonies are being developed. ठीक है? और सोचो, अब टर्म बता दिया, सरफेस रन ऑफ. Overcrowding. How? सही है, go on. This is the main reason. See, there is term concretization. You can see there are metal road, then there is pavement, and then there are buildings. There is no soil. So if the rainfall is going to occur, the soil is going to soak down those water. But at the urban places, due to heavy concretization, building material, construction, pavement, even your pavements are made from the bricks, your footpath. At the same time, the roads are metallic in nature, that is your coal tar. So if there is water which is going to come, there will be surface runoff, first thing. And if there is surface runoff, you need a proper drainage system, which is highly improper in India. Because how urbanization in India is going to take place? See, any urban places which are going to visit, first they are going to make building. Then they think, "Yare, rasta to banaya nahi." Then they are going to make the road. Then finally they think, now we need electricity. So they are going to, and that road is not metallic initially. So they are going to go for bamboo sticks, and they are going to bring down the lines, electricity lines, which is illegal. Such sort of illegal colonies are going to emerge. Now it becomes a political issue. In Delhi, even during the AAP, 327 illegal colonies which were created has been legalized. Finally, they are now given the electricity line, proper bill, gas connection. Now government think we have to make a road. So metallic roads are constructed. Then they think, "Kyare galti ho gayi. We have created the road, we have constructed the road, but where is the sewerage system?" So they again dig the road, they make a sewerage system. Again they think, obviously after breaking down that road, that sewerage system, a road has to be reconstructed. Then they think, now we have forgotten the water supply pipelines. Again that road is broken, water pipeline supply is there. Again it is being completely constructed. Then they think where to put up the fiber cables. Again they are going to dig the road, and in this way this urbanization process is going to take on. Your infrastructure must be developed prior to the development of urban place. And Indian infrastructure, in Indian urban planning, this infrastructure is lacking, which your friend has told about the Gurugram. That is correct. Okay. So if there is excess surface runoff, so water is going to go for sewage system. And again we are humans who are the very intelligent humans, sapiens, homo sapiens का मतलब भी वही होता है. So we have used excessive of the plastics which goes down to the sewerage line, and it is choking down your sewerage system. So if your sewerage system, though even it is properly developed, it is being choked by the plastics, पानी कहाँ होगा? बाहर आ जाएगा. So this is the main reason for the development of urban floods in India. Okay, write it down. Urban floods. And as the urban centers, heavy concretization occurs. Heavy concretization occurs. Metal roads, bricked footpath, and high construction activity covers the topmost layer. During rainy season, water is not soaked down by the ground. Water is not soaked down by the ground. And there is excessive surface runoff. Due to improper sewerage system, which is being choked by the plastics, the water spilled out. Leads to development of urban floods. That's it, 50 words. Khatam. Next topic, which is in news, is tipping point. And basically it is related to climate change. See, what is tipping point? Basically, लिखना मतलब है उसको. It is a combination of the smaller events which ultimately culminates to go for a irreversible damage. That is your tipping point. छोटा 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 इवेंट मिलकर एक ऐसा बड़ा इवेंट आ जाएगा, वो पॉइंट आ जाएगा. That is from there you cannot go for reversing the things. So in climate, basically 1779. Always remember this year. This is the era of your industrial revolution. From here onwards, the industrial revolution started because your James Watt discovered steam engine. And obviously in industry, you have to study that your first industrial revolution was fed by the fossil fuel, that is your coal, and successively by petroleum. So in some 250 years, we have increased the temperature of planet Earth. So there was first Earth Summit, Rio Summit, Rio de Janeiro, it is in Brazil, in which UNFCC, United Nations Framework on Climate Change, was formed. And successively there were 3 more seminars. One is your Kyoto Protocol in 1997, followed by Doha round. So outcome of these were that we have to reduce the emission of your polluting things to 1990 level by 2020 and prior to 1990 level by 2030. And ultimately it was also decided that with the cutting of the emission, we are going to reduce the temperature at least by 2 degrees centigrade. हुआ ऐसा? नहीं हुआ. So when I used to study in school, I matriculated in 1998. So we used to study that climate is going to change in some 2100 and so. When I started preparing, then we used to study that by 2080 or 2060 the climate is going to change. And when I am teaching, we have reached the tipping point in 2024. So we have done an irreversible damage to our environment. So a shorter events, for example, building of a factory, building of the construction material, your emission from the fuels, which leads to the development of lead, nitrous oxide, sulfur hexafluoride, CFC, HFCs, and so on. Carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. These all have combined together and they have gone for the tipping point. That means we have reached that tipping point from where whatever we can use to do, we cannot reverse this climate. And climate is not going to change suddenly. There is a concept of flickering of the climate. For example, in Ethiopia, the recent research has happened that there were alternate season of wet and dry spells, which you are experiencing in India. Hottest month of January, hottest February, March, April, May, सबसे गर्म रहा. So we are going to see this dry and a warm or a wet spell irregularly, and it may continue up to some next 1000 years also. But after that, the climate is permanently going to change. And it is going to be there for some 5,000 years. Even if you have gone for the studying of ancient history. So if you are going to see the sites of Harappa, they are now Indus Valley civilization, they are even the Mesopotamian civilization, that is Iraq, it is now a desertic region. Once it was having a lush green vegetation. But ultimately, climate changed due to the human activity and now it is completely desertified. So desertification is also one of the things which is related with the land degradation. मैं आज ही पढ़ा दूंगा उसे. So we have reached that tipping point. So this flickering is now occurring in your planet. तो उसको करने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए? What we must do? So again there is a concept of geo-re-engineering and it is again in news. तो पहले ये कर लेते हैं, उसके बाद उसको देखेंगे. Tipping point in the climate system. Tipping point in the climate system can be slow but is a linear development. Linear is, that means once it is going to occur, it will be there. They can also be accompanied by flickering, F-L-I-C-K, flickering. With two stable climatic conditions that alternate before a final transition occur. There are two types of tipping point. First, process slow at an increasing rate. Process slow at an increasing rate, and the climate has a hard time recovering from disturbances until a transition occur. The second type is change the paragraph. The second type is characterized by flickering between stable humid and dry climates that occurs shortly before the climate change. If you want to write down the tipping point definition, you may write down also. Tipping point is basically the culmination. Tipping point is basically the culmination of the smaller events which leads to irreversible point. So this tipping point was in news, and related topics are geo re-engineering or geoengineering. This is again in news. What is geoengineering? Any idea? सुना होगा भी, न्यूज में आ रहा होगा कुछ. You need to go for such sort of a practices which can change the environment of your planet. There is also a relative concept called terraforming. So terraforming is basically making the planet suitable for living condition of the humans. ठीक है. Geoengineering is that process which involves changing the climatic pattern of your planet. So write it down. Geoengineering has encompassed two different things. sucking carbon dioxide out of the sky so that atmosphere can trap less heat. Now remember one thing, that carbon dioxide is having heat trapping capacity. Mercury planet is the nearest to sun, but the hottest one is Venus. Why? It consists more than 80% of the carbon dioxide. That is why. Okay. Second, reflecting sunlight away from the planet so that Earth receives less radiation. So, is geoengineering can be done by nature itself? Nature can heal itself. How? Afforestation. ठीक है, that is idea correct. ठीक है, any more ideas? Naturally, पहले naturally करेंगे, वो geoengineering तो हम ही लोग करना है अब. If you are going to leave the planet Earth for next 25 years, then nature can heal itself. We have seen during the corona times. Jamuna खुद ब खुद साफ हो गई. Any more ideas? See, if there is a volcanic eruption, there is basically concentration of volcanic gases in the upper layer of the atmosphere. It leads to reflecting back of the sunlight, and it had happened. In fact, there is an eruption of Mount Pinatubo. It is in Luzon, Philippines, and it decreased the insolation of the sun. So temperature drops by 2 to 3 degrees centigrade. So it can also occur naturally, but obviously we are again Homo sapiens. हम लोग सुधरते कहाँ हैं? So we are not going to go for afforestation. ठीक है? We are going to go for deforestation. And remember, 80% of the deforestation of the land is happened due to agriculture itself. We have cleared down and cut down the forests for agriculture purposes. Even in Northeast, you have terrace farming, right? Though it is near to ecological method, it is highly hazardous to land degradation. At the same time, we have zooming in Northeast. होता है ना? Again, it leads to degradation of the land. Simply building of this material, this construction, it degrades the land. Excessive use of water table, it also degrades your climate. Why? Because if water is going to go down, then topmost layer of the soil is devoid of moisture. It will lead to soil erosion. All those things which humans are doing, they are going to ultimately have a negative impact of climate. Even related with the geoengineering and the climatic change, there is a concept of subsidence of land. जोशीमठ जा रहा है नीचे ना, तो इसके बाद वो बताऊंगा कैसे होता है. ठीक है? So geoengineering is basically, it can be done by nature itself by releasing the certain gases during the volcanic eruption, or if we are going to go for leave the land, it can be reforesting itself. Okay, and these ideas has been now implied in African region of Sahel. Just south of Sahara, it is Sahel region, so where this plantation drive is going on. So we are though planting, but obviously the damage which we have done in some 250 years, I told you it is a tipping point, so it cannot be reversed naturally now. अब नहीं हो सकता. So we have to go for the geoengineering. So initially what we had, कि either we suck down the carbon, that is carbon sequestration process. It is related to science and tech where you have to study. And then we can go for this carbon sequestration and we can put down this carbon down the earth. So ultimately this carbon will be converted into fossil fuels. Our second idea is, if we cannot do this, then we reflect the sunlight. See, during the decades of the 1960s, this idea came up. And the idea was to plant the mirrors on the rooftop so that this insolation can be sent back. This radiation coming from the earth can be sent back. But obviously it is one of the foolish ideas. Okay? You cannot go for making such things. But this idea was generated. नहीं हंसने की बात है, इसमें research भी हुआ था. But obviously it was successively considered to be a futile practices. Write it down. At present time, we have 1, 2, 3 करके लिखना. Solar geoengineering. First is solar geoengineering. It is radiative forcing geoengineering. It is radiative forcing geoengineering. Refers to method of cooling the planet. Refers to the method of cooling the planet by altering the rate at which the earth collects the radiation from sun. Collect the radiation from sun. See, incoming solar radiation, is it a reason of climatic change or global warming? The incoming sun rays or the radiation, is it one of the reason of the global warming? The answer is no and the answer is yes. Okay, in human and economic geography, which you are studying, never take an absolute answer. There is a concept of Malkovich cycle, which says that it is quite a frequent phenomenon that Earth, while revolving around the sun in every 24,000 years, changes its tilt. What is the tilt of the Earth? Earth is tilted. The tilt of the Earth is 23.5 degrees from the vertical and 66.5 degrees from horizontal. But in every 24,000 years, this tilt is going to change from 22 to 24 degree. Abhi 23.5 pe hai, it is moving towards 22 degree. So if the Earth is going to move slight a bit, it is going to change its tilts, it is going to receive more radiation. And according to Milankovitch cycle, in every 1 lakh year, Earth is nearest to Sun, which is this time frame. So if the radiation is going to increase, this warming is going to increase. But in this solar geoengineering, if we are going to reflect the radiation, incoming solar energy, is it going to reduce the global warming? The answer is no. Why? Because global warming is basically the result of greenhouse gases, which have increased the tendency of trapping down the heat. We have increased the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and so on. Even the steam, H2O in vaporous form, is having heat trapping capacity. So this solar geoengineering is not going to reduce the global warming. It is only going to reflect the insolation. ठीक है, अब ये आइडिया क्या था कि मिरर्स लगा लो, रिफ्लेक्ट कर दो और खूब जमकर ग्रीन हाउस गैस एमिशन करो. We are unable to reduce our consumption of the greenhouse gases, increasing the greenhouse gases. Our consumption in fossil fuels are highly dependent. Though the new technologies are there, the new concept which is also there, one concept which has emerged recently is the blue energy. We are going to discuss that. So we have your solar energy. ठीक है? So is solar energy good for Earth or bad for Earth? फिर कह रहा हूं, never take any definite stance in human and economic geography. यहाँ सही भी है, गलत भी है. For example, we are using solar cells, which consist of silicon, and it can be used for 5 to 8 years depending upon the quality. After that you have to dispose it. Silica is a carcinogenic component. It causes cancer. For example, at present time we are building up those electric buses. The battery consists of lithium. Kahan dispose of karoge? It is carcinogenic. Now we are moving towards hydrogen, but the efficiency is very low. You have to see exact combination of the thing. Exact kabhi mat lena stand. So we are seeing 67% of the energy requirement in India is dependent upon thermal power plants. And alone 16% of the energy requirements in India in year is filled by your diesel generators. 16% power cuts hota hai, you utilize your this diesel generators. 16% hai. So you have also to go and look for the population of India. ठीक है? You cannot compare it with the Europe. For example, Netherlands. They are almost generating 70% of the wind energy. But what is the population of Netherlands? It is less than the population of Ghaziabad. Population of Bihar is more than the population of UK. Population of Rajasthan is more than population of Portugal. UP alone stand at number 6 position in the world. USA has a population of 32 crores. UP has 30 crore. उसका नीड तो कैटर करोगे पॉपुलेशन का ना, तो यू हैव टू कंपेयर. इसलिए कह रहा हूं एग्जैक्ट स्टैंड मत लो. अच्छा भी है बुरा भी है. सी राइट इट डाउन. सोलर जियो इंजीनियरिंग cannot reduce the global warming as global warming is a result of greenhouse gases. Second was carbon dioxide geoengineering. Carbon dioxide geoengineering. It refers to the manipulation. It refers to the manipulation of the planet to reduce the carbon dioxide content in the atmosphere. Which can be done in two ways. First is carbon sequestration. Sequestration. First is carbon sequestration, write it down. It is filtering out the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and sending it back to the ground. Second method is forestation. Afforestation. Next method is fertilizing the oceans. Fertilizing the ocean. See, basically oceans are devoid of iron. And if more and more iron is added to the oceans, there will be algal bloom. And algal bloom can trap In fact, almost 40 to 30 to 40% of the carbon dioxide which is present in your atmosphere, it is being trapped by the algae itself. So if there is algal bloom in the ocean, obviously it is going to trap the carbon dioxide. But is it a good method? Again, it is one of the method. But if there is a algal bloom in ocean's water or any pond, the biological oxygen demand is going to grow more and more, and ultimately it is going to damage our climatic ecosystem itself. Write it down. Fertilizing the ocean. Ocean lacks the iron content, which if added would lead to algal bloom, which can trap the excessive carbon dioxide from atmosphere. But again, this algal bloom would lead to increase in biological oxygen demand, or it is BOD, biological oxygen demand, which hampers the ecosystem. Is this algal bloom is occurring at present time? Yes, our oceans are turning green now from blue. So near the river, which is going to be a deltaic region, we have used the excessive pesticide and fertilizers. So by the surface on off, those are now reaching up to the oceans. So near Gulf of Mexico, your ocean is turning green from blue, and due to this algal bloom itself. और वहां पे हम लोग क्या सोच रहे हैं? We must add more and more iron so that this algal bloom is going to occur. Ultimately, ecosystem will be damaged. So each and every idea which we have generated is damaging our ecosystem. Now next topic, land subsidence. Land subsidence. Subsidence, नीचे जाना. It is a prominent phenomenon. It is a prominent phenomenon in the permafrost region and the coastal region. Roughly 270 million, that is 27 crores, urban residents are estimated to be affected with nearly 70 million experiencing rapid subsidence. Of 10 mm per year. (45% of the urban areas are sinking. The subsidence is mainly caused by two factors. The subsidence is mainly caused by two factors. First, climate change. See how climate change is responsible for subsidence of the land. Any idea? Melting of the permafrost. See, it is a prominent phenomenon in permafrost, and permafrost includes the region of Siberia, Alaska, and the northern part of Canada. ठीक है? Permafrost simply means the area which is above 66.5 degree north. See, we have divided the world into the basis of latitude from 23.5 degree north to 23.5 degree south. It is called torrid zone, or it is termed as tropical zone. It is completely based on the incoming solar radiation. From 23.5 to 66.5 degree north and south, it is your temperate zone, and above it, it is frigid zone. This frigid zone is your permafrost region, be it in north or be it in south. So if you are going to visit the places above 66.5, it is permanently frozen. Obviously, if the land is frozen, the land is being held tightly or controlled by ice. बर्फ पे चले हो कभी? नहीं, कभी चल के देखना. If the snow is very fresh, then you are going to get imprints of your foot. But if it is an old ice, concretized ice, then it is very harsh. Even just take an ice cube from your refrigerator and try to slap it with your face. You can cut literally your skin with that ice. It is so harsh. But if it is very hard structure, then it is going to hold the land surface. But what we have done again, we have increased the temperature, and temperature has led to the melting down of this permafrost region. And if it is going to melt down, it is not going to hold the topmost layer. So subsequently, what is going to happen? This water will be mixed with the soil. It will be converted into marshy area, and ultimately the land is going to subside. But at urban places, again, it is by the human activity. See, there are aquifer system just below the ground, and there is a concept of water table. Water accumulates in the soil and the sub-layer of the soils. There are many layers of soils. The last layer of soil, it is termed as bedrock. There are layer A, B, C, D, O. ये सब soil में पढ़ना है आपको, ठीक है? Now, above this bedrock, there is water which is filled there. This water is being sucked out. This is the overutilization of groundwater. Even Chennai in India, it is the first city to lose its groundwater. The water table, and remember that it is a coastal city, the water table has in fact gone down below some thousands meter. 1 kilometer नीचे चला गया. See, my village is in the area of the Ganga region. So where I used to remember that we have a well system in our house, and that water was available at the 30 feet. At present time, the drinkable water has gone down to some 200 feet. So that means we have overutilized this groundwater, and this overutilization of groundwater is mainly for the agriculture purpose and drinking purpose. So if this water is being taken out, subsequently void zone, holes जिसको कहते हो, that will be created. The land is going to subside down. Second में लिख लो. Excessive use of groundwater withdrawal lowers down the water table, which is the most important driver of the subsidence. Combined with geology and weight of building, and weight of building. The example is the Chinese city Tianjin, Tianjin, Tianjin. Even this groundwater withdrawal was completely banned in Osaka and Tokyo in some decades of 1970s, because also their land was also subsiding. And recently, Indonesia's capital is change ho gaya hai. It is Nusantara. So Jakarta was basically subsiding. So that's why they have changed their capital. So geography ke board map mein kar lena. So this was related with the land subsidence. Any question till time? Groundwater कम होने का नहीं, वो that is excessive utilization for agriculture purpose. For example, do you know कि how many liters of water is required to give 1 kg of rice? 1 kg राइस को बनाने के लिए कितना लीटर ऑफ वाटर चाहिए? Any idea? 2400 liters. It is 4000 liters. 4000 liters of the utilization of water is required to produce 1 kg of rice. So we are having a wetland farming system, and we must move towards the dryland farming system. Abhi wo hai, land degradation is one of the topic which is in news, so we are going to cover it today itself. So it is overutilization of groundwater is mainly for the agriculture purpose. Second thing is for human purpose. We have contaminated all the ponds, all the well system. So that lowering down, again it is going to degrade the land itself. If the water table is going to go down further, then the area is going to go for land degradation, and ultimately it will be the desertification of land. Okay? See, this is happening in India. The soil is rendering infertile. At the same time, 69%. See, what is the stat? The India has a total area, land surface area of 2.4% of the world, and it is sustaining 17% population of the world, and your 69% of the land has degraded. खाना कहाँ उगाएगा? मिट्टी खाएगा? So this is occurring due to one of the reasons is climate change, but again climate change is dependent upon human activity. We are one who are responsible, but we always claim the authority. We never take the responsibility. Okay? Any more question? It is most rapid. Even Ranchi, the water table has gone below some 900 or 1000 feet. Delhi was expected to lose its groundwater in some 2021 itself, but bach gaya, abhi hai iske paas. But still the Delhi groundwater cannot be taken. It cannot be drink. It is not drinkable. Why? It consists of arsenic and lead. दिल्ली का सब्जी खाता है ना, कभी मत खाना. ठीक है? वो ढाबे पे बैठ के वो खाता है, क्या कहते हैं, नान खाता है ना, नान पराठा. You know that coal which is going to come, from where that coal is coming? It is from the cremation ground. That charcoal is used. क्या हुआ? मजा आ रहा है? गैप दू थोड़ा सा 10 मिनट का कि कंटिन्यू करूं? अब खाना नान पराठा जाके. After cremation, that wood is converted into charcoal. They just wash it down. You can see that near Nigambodh Ghat. It is in ISBT, near ISBT itself. It's a funeral ground, so that charcoal is utilized by your dhaba. ठीक है? चलो, any more questions? हाँ, बिल्कुल, disguised unemployment, it can be one of the reasons. It is. And see, there is very negative impact of the government policies. चलो वो बात का है, मगर पूछा है तो बता देता हूँ. The government has started giving free funds thing. ठीक है? If the baby is conceived in a mother womb's, free medical treatment. On first childbirth, it is some 1000 rupees assistance. On second, it is 900 or 500 rupees. अगर बेटी हुई तो बढ़ जाता है, ठीक है. Then there is education system that is also for free, but that is for good thing. There is emerging pressure on your medical health facilities. चलो वो भी फ्री है. आयुष्मान योजना कर दिया ना. That Ayushman Yojana is the highly corrupt scheme. And I can say that because there is a hospital in Darbhanga, my native place is Madhubani. They run on this Ayushman scheme. The person who are being registered, they just operate them for 2 days. They make the bill of 5 lakhs. Bahar jao. And it is run by समझना पड़ता है भाई, अभी भी डर का माहौल तो है ही. तो अब मान लो कि वो भी गवर्नमेंट कर दिया. फिर यू आर प्रोवाइडिंग सब्सिडीज, you are giving free of money to students who have completed standard 10th, completed standard 12th or a graduation. Finally you are giving them free ration. तो सब कुछ तो फ्री हो गया, तो काम क्यों करेगा? दिस इज द ह्यूमन बिहेवियर ना. मुझे घर बिठा के पैसा दोगे, मैं काम क्यों करूंगा? मैं आराम से सोया रहूंगा. और उसको पैसा कहां से मिल रहा है? टैक्स पेयर. टैक्स कौन पे कर रहा है? हम लोग. हम लोग को क्या मिल रहा है? अंगूठा. Even if I'm going to get my insurance done, I have to pay GST over it. I'm paying 60% of my money in taxes. And the amount which is being raised, I have to pay 30% of the tax. Benefit किसको मिल रहा है? 80 crores और 100 crores of the गरीब जनता. वो काम करना ही नहीं चाहती. In my village, I'm not going to name the person because they work in my house. ठीक है? They are getting free of the ration of 3 people on 3 different names. इतना राशन आता है, जाके दुकानें बेचती है. अब बताओ. So the schemes are good, but what is the implementation? तो तभी तो ये डेटा आ रहा है. And be it any government, be it BJP government or be it Congress government, this is going to happen because these schemes are run by bureaucrat and bureaucrats are Pooja Khedkar. And remember, you are going to do the same things. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. So I always tell my students कि never take a bribe of some 200 and 300. There is a case in Bihar that in some 2013 batch, there was one SDM at present, that time he was an SDM. He was taking bribe of rupees 200 from the trucks. भाई आप लोग IAS हो, 200 रुपया चाहिए, you can send me a message and I will Paytm you. If you want to take money, at least take 10 crore. उससे कम मत लेना, बेइज्जती की बात होगी. हंस रहा है, सच बोल रहा है. मैं अभी there was a IAS from Jharkhand and she was the youngest one poised to become cabinet secretary, the topmost civil servant in India. घर से कितना कैश निकला? 50 करोड़. I salute to that lady. 200 रुपए के लिए जेल जाएगा. और हुआ बिहार में वही, पकड़ा गया एज ए SDM, जेल गया. फिर कहा मुझे हरियाणा कैडर ट्रांसफर कर दो. बिहार गवर्नमेंट ने कहा नहीं करेंगे. तो 200 रुपया मत लेना. 10 करोड़, 20 करोड़, 100 करोड़, 1000 करोड़ ऐसे करके. फॉर देयर इज अ डिस्ट्रिक्ट इन आंध्र, गोदावरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट. The budget of that district is 4,000 crore in 2015. So at least you must get 1% of that. शादी करना तो 5 लाख दहेज मत लेना. I know a person who has taken 13 crores. तो इससे कम में काम नहीं चलेगा. 10 करोड़ के नीचे नहीं. ठीक है? So that factor of corruption is there. So how the plan and policy will be implemented? Policies are good. See their implementation. For example, there was a concept of government to build toilets and 12,000 rupees was being given. In my village, each and every person, those who have having toilets also, they click the photo for different angles and they have taken money of 3 to 4 toilets. तो 48,000 आ गया, चुपचाप क्या करेगा? 5,000 मुखिया को दे दे, 5,000 वीडियो को पकड़ा दे, बाकी पैसा अपने पास. Even there is a concept of KCC, Kisan Credit Card. Farmers take the loan, they go for marriage of their kids and they never return the loan because they know that there is a farm loan waiver scheme. It is a political angle. So if the government is going to come, they are going to waive up the loan. And do you know what is the cost of loan waiver till date? It is 220 lakh thousand crores. Agriculture में पढ़ाऊंगा. This is a revised estimate. You can check it on net. And it was initiated by Congress government. 45,000 crore was initiated. Ultimately it reached up to 70,000 crores, followed by the different government, be it BJP, be it Congress. होते होते 2,20,000 crore का हो गया. पैसा गया कहाँ? मुझे मिला? अरे मेरा चाचा खुद के केसीसी लेके बैठ गया है. 83,000 of the loans because he know कि it will be waived off. और उससे अपना काम करो. So these schemes are basically having a sort of a negative tendency. And remember, we are Indians. We are never a hard-working person. There is a concept of strike, and this is a case study. In Japan, a shoemaking company goes for the strike, but the employee, they started making shoes of a right leg only. Their demand was accepted. Next day, they made the left shoes only. Production never declined. Even recently, I think it is the case of Singapore, London, or where I am forgetting it क्योंकि बहुत चीज पढ़ता रहता हूँ. There was a strike by the public bus operator. तो strike कैसे किया पता है? Free में travel करो. They didn't stop the transportation network, but they didn't charge a single penny from the passengers. अगले ही दिन गवर्नमेंट बोली भाई डिमांड कंप्लीटेड. सो सी हाउ दिस इनोवेटिव थिंग इज. एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द कॉटन टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री, योर जूट इंडस्ट्री इन इंडिया हैज बीन शट डाउन ड्यू टू स्ट्राइक्स. तो सी यू कैन टेक इंडियन आउट ऑफ इंडिया, यू कैन नेवर टेक इंडिया आउट ऑफ एन इंडियन. एंड वी आर इंडियंस. ठीक है, तो ह्यूमन बिहेवियर हमारा क्या है? निकम्मा और नकारापन. नो, दिस इज अ रियलिटी. जस्ट ओपन योर मोबाइल, गो फॉर द यूट्यूब एंड जस्ट टाइप इट डाउन, हाउ टू मेक एन मैगी. देयर विल बी 1 lakh वीडियो एंड वीडियोज आर गोइंग टू हैव 1 million ऑफ व्यूज. तो कितना निठल्ला है वो आदमी जो ऐसा वीडियो बनाया, कितना निकम्मा है वो जो उसको देख रहा है. And there are reels which are now being made in metros. क्या कर रहा है? डांस कर रहा है. तो your generation, not my generation, ठीक है, your generation have set up a very high standard of your idealism. Your ideals are Elvis Yadav, भाई साहब को जहर पीता है. Your ideals are कौन है? एलवी सदा के बाद अभी कौन फेमस हुआ है? उर्फी जावेद. यू फॉलो द रील्स. So you are living in a different society. So that aspect is also there. Again, that is a human aspect. ठीक है? Any more questions? टॉपिक से, क्योंकि बाहर बात करेगा तो फिर मैं बहुत बताने लग जाऊंगा. चलो आखिरी, नेक्स्ट वन, लैंड डिग्रेडेशन. According to UNCCD, land degradation, heading डालो. According to UNCCD, that is United Nations Convention to combat desertification, land degradation is the reduction or loss of biological or economic productivity resulting from land uses or form a process or combination of processes including human activity. Now this is your land degradation. In India, 69% of the land comes under land degradation. Degradation of land ultimately leads to desertification. Soil erosion due to wind, water, are the major reason for increase in land degradation. The process are listed as the process of land degradation is listed as deforestation, shifting cultivation, grazing, water erosion, wind erosion, salinity of the soil, excess irrigation, overuse of fertilizers, unplanned drainage, frost shattering, mass movement, etc. Mass movement, etc. Now we have to study about the land degradation. Chalo. ये तो बस पॉइंट्स थे, अब इसको एक्सप्लेनेशन होगा, ठीक है. So how the land is being degraded? First part is agriculture. This is the major source. ठीक है, तो give the heading agriculture. First point, 80% of the deforestation has occurred due to agriculture. Second, इसी का second, excessive irrigation. Now, how excessive irrigation is going to lead to land degradation? See, that is erosion. I am not talking of erosion. Terms को interchangeably मत use करो, क्योंकि सबका देखो, in physical geography you have to study process of denudation. So weathering is different, erosion is different, deposition is different, and so on, which leads to development of different landforms. Excessive irrigation मतलब we are irrigating too much. So how it is related to land degradation? कैसे, वही तो पूछना है. डिग्रेड तो कर ही रहा है. See, first अभी क्या बताया था? 4,000 liters is required to produce 1 kg of our rice. So rice fields, if you are going to see, they are covered up to a layer of 1 to 1.5 feet by water. So excessive irrigation is there. For this reason, it leads to the development of methane. And remember, methane is again having heat trapping capacity. So rice fields are one of the main emitters of methane. So excessive पानी डाल दिया. Now when excessive water is done after the harvest, what is going to due to this excessive irrigation, after the topmost layer of soil is loose. So after the harvesting period, when wind is going to blow, they are going to erode this, ultimately leading to land degradation. See, less irrigation is not required, excessive irrigation is also not required. There must be a balance between them. So in the rice field, such sort of a land degradation is very prominent. And there is irrigation practices also in India. For example, we have 3 types of irrigation in India. One is tank irrigation, one is canal irrigation, and then there is tube well or well irrigation. Canal irrigation is very prominent in the region of Haryana and Punjab. Have you seen any canal of Punjab? नहीं घूमते नहीं हो. Can you expect the width? It is almost like a river, 100-200 feet wide. So if that canal irrigation is there, the region lying just near the canal system, they are going to have excessive of water. The land is going to convert it into marshy land. Ultimately, land degrades. It is one of the major negative outcome of your canal irrigation. So excessive water must also not be there. अगर हमेशा के लिए रह गया तो it will be a marshy land. Again, marshy land is going to produce methane, which has heat trapping capacity. Again, it is going to lead to global warming. These are all interconnected. See, do you know what the potato is? I hope so. ठीक है. It can be used in vegetarian foods. It can be used in non-vegetarian foods. You can simply take it mashed potato also. Patties खाता है तो उसमें potato है. So in human economic geography, try to develop few of the points which are just like potato. Interchangeably, you can write it down. Land degradation, if we are going to study, we are attaching the climate change as one of the point. But if climate change is the main question, land degradation will be one sub point. बात वही है, गोल गोल के कैसे कैसे घुमाना है, मगर सारा टॉपिक आपको कंटेम्पररी है एंड यू हैव टू स्टडी दिस इन ज्योग्राफी. ठीक है, तो राइट इट डाउन. एग्रीकल्चर में कंटिन्यू इन एग्रीकल्चर. सेकेंड पॉइंट, एक्सेसिव इरिगेशन. हेडिंग दे दिया. The canal irrigation is prominent in Haryana and Punjab. And Western UP also. Remember, this is the region of your Green Revolution. Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh or Western UP. The area or the region lying near the canal, have high groundwater table have high groundwater table, which leads to the development of marshy land. Next, excessive use, in this point itself, excessive use of irrigation or water in agriculture leads to loosening of the topmost layer of the soil. Topmost layer of the soil. After harvest, wind erodes it. Third, excessive use of groundwater. Again, excessive use of groundwater will be due to again agricultural practices. So initially we had a well system, and if you are going to pour down the water, it is again a tube well system. So what has happened that we have bored down the tube wells, and it is very prominent agriculture practices or irrigation practices in Uttar Pradesh and the region of the fertile Ganga belt. So we have utilized excessive water for agriculture and your drinking purpose. So water table is going down. इसलिए मैंने कहा था water table ज़्यादा ऊपर भी नहीं, ज़्यादा नीचे भी नहीं. So water table is going down, and if water table is going down, again the topmost layer will be devoid of moisture. So if the topmost layer is devoid of moisture, it will be a degradation of land, and ultimately it will be a desertification process. In Punjab, during the Green Revolution, we had the HYV variety of seeds, high yielding varieties, right? And those high yielding variety requires more water and more pesticides. इसलिए canal irrigation develop किया. So if there is a more water and more pesticides, chemical fertilizers, ग्राउंड वाटर तो नीचे चला गया. ये जो पार्टिकल्स हैं, particles of those pesticide and fertilizers, they remained on the topmost layer of the soil. So if you are going to visit Punjab or Haryana or Western UP, where this green revolution took place, after the harvesting season, you can see that the topmost of the soil is covered with white particles. That is your fertilizers. It leads to calcification. The process is calcification of the soil. Soil is ultimately going to degrade. तो water table ज़्यादा नीचे भी नहीं होना चाहिए. Write it down. Excessive use of groundwater table has initiated the process of calcification. That is, the particles of fertilizers, pesticides does not seeps down. It remains on the top layer. Next, See, we are basically using the traditional rice varieties, which requires more and more amount of water. Dryland farming has to be promoted. So we have developed the hybrid variety rice. आप उसको उगाओ. We have to look for the entire thing now. But again, in India, if you are going to see the agriculture, it is run by your different sorts of taboos and your cultural values also. We still practice subsistence nature of the agriculture. Okay, for example, if you are going to visit, taboo क्या है? For example, if I am going to practice, I am so-called upper caste. I am not going to reveal that caste. Okay, ठीक है, बस इतना बता दिया, वही काफी होना चाहिए. My name is Subhash Thakur. Now you can easily imagine that. Do you think that I am going to take piggery as a business or agriculture and allied practices? Do you think that I am going to open a hen farm? So who is going to open the hen farm? Most of the Muslims are related with the hen farm. But do you think that Muslims are going to go for piggery? Pigs are haram in Islam. Okay, but so this is your cultural norm also. Similarly, most of the there is one social taboo in India that if you are going to practice agriculture, you are uneducated. Okay, for example, you are trying for UPSC. कितना टाइम लगेगा? 2 साल. इतना खर्चा हो जाएगा. ठीक है, उसका होने या ना होने का चांसेस इज 0.05 to 0.07%. Just go to your home, tell your dad, why are you investing such money on me? Purchase the land, I am going to go for agriculture practice. आपके फादर तैयार होंगे? ईमानदारी से बता दो. So this is a main societal taboo. That in India, uneducated persons are being employed in agriculture. The reverse in Europe. Okay, those who are highly educated, they take the agriculture. Now, recently, few of the agriculture practices in India has been initiated by the educated people. मगर दिमाग में तो वो है ना. At the same time, if you can see how the society is going to react, there was a protest, farmer protest, and one day the farmers were having pizza. तो टीवी न्यूज चैनल क्या दिखा रहा था कि these farmers are on वो क्या कहते हैं पिकनिक, they are eating pizza, they are not the poor farmer. So this is the concept in India ना कि farmer must be a poor, he must be having a dhoti, a kurta. Why can't a farmer have a Fortuner? I was taking classes at that time in KSG Khan Study Group in Bhopal. If you want to go for honeymoon to Switzerland, why not a farmer can go for honeymoon to Switzerland? तो ये थॉट किसका है? सोसाइटी का आया ना. वो टैबू से भी चलता है. That's why our Indian farmers, most of them are uneducated, and they are very reluctant to change. If they are growing rice, they are going to grow rice only. They are not going to change to vegetables. At the same time, in agriculture practices, you have to study the faulty market system. So each farmer does not have the access. So again, जो उसको मिल जाता है वही रखता है. There are many aspects. So that is one of the main reason. Dryland farming is not being promoted in India. And wherever there is ample of water, people think कि अच्छा हम तो कर लेंगे. Drip irrigation concept is there. Sprinkler things are there. How many farmers are utilizing it? Though the government is providing subsidy, ठीक है, but again the cost will be some 50,000 rupees. The farmer is earning 500 rupees per month. Who is going to take a subsidy of 50,000? खुद का भी खर्चा 50,000 रुपए हो जाएगा. So to increase that agriculture, there must be excessive or basically market oriented things in that sector, which the government has not invested. And it can easily see, there are 100 crores of the unemployed youth. It is the agriculture sector which can consume the unemployment. तो एग्रीकल्चर में बताऊंगा. ठीक है, तो जो सोसाइटल नॉर्म्स प्रैक्टिसेस ना, दैट इज वन ऑफ द रीजंस. किस पॉइंट पे था मैं? कैल्सिफिकेशन. ठीक है, खत्म हुआ. नेक्स्ट आओ, वाटर इरोजन. वाटर इरोजन You have to study in erosion that water can erode in different types. ठीक है? There is splash erosion, there is rills and gully erosion, and there is sheet erosion. ठीक है? So for example, if you are going to pour down water on a sand, it creates a line, right? So if those lines are up to 6 millimeter, it is termed as rills. If it is more than that, it is termed as gully. And you can see that if the water droplets are going to drop on ground, it is going to splash. And if whole of the land is covered with running water, it is sheet. Okay? But such sort of erosion was first, though it was there, but the term originated in South Dakota, that is USA. The term was Badland. During excessive rainfall, where there is laterite soil or the hills of that Dakota region, they were badly eroded by the torrential downpour. So this badland term was introduced there. In India, this badland is found in near the region of river Chambal, and it is known as ravines, और इसी को कहते हैं Bihar. Why Bihar was famous for? Don't know Bihar? फूलन देवी का नाम सुना है? Who was she? A dacoit? So Bihar is famous for dacoits. अभी नहीं है, पहले था. तो फूलन देवी was one of the most dreaded one. मतलब उसको एक सपना आ जाता भी था ना किसी हवलदार को कि फूलन देवी आ रही है, तो वो कूद गया था छत से सपने में. And this is the reality, because that person belonged to one of my friends. He was uncle of that, my friend. ठीक है? So badland is again leads to degradation of land, and this is the water erosion which leads to increase in the land degradation process. ठीक है? Write it down. Water erode in different ways, such as rills, gully, splash, and sheet manner. It leads to development of badland. It leads to the development of badland. The term originated in South Dakota, USA, where hills were badly eroded, by torrential downpour. Torrential downpour. The water erosion leads to development of ravines. Water erosion leads to development of ravines, which in India is termed as Bihar. Bihar, B-E-E-H-A-D. B-E-E-H-A-D, Bihar. The course of Chambal River. Do you know the Murana district of MP, Madhya Pradesh? That place is known for this Bihar only. Next. Excessive mining and development of industries. Next, vegetation degradation. Vegetation degradation. It is the temporary It is the temporary or permanent reduction in the density, structure, species composition, or productivity of vegetation cover. It is responsible for 10%, though the data is 9.15, up 10 लिखो, 10% of land degradation. Now, what is the meaning of this? Any idea? लिखवाया क्या? See, plant species are native to different type of climatic condition. For example, if you are going to visit northeast, due to heavy rainfall, they have dense evergreen. Okay, bamboo species that is a very prominent in northeastern region. But as you are going to come towards Bihar, UP, you can see that mango cultivation is done, lychee production is done. But can that mango production is a prominent in Rajasthan? The answer is no. So if you are going to move toward the Rajasthan, नहीं कर सकता, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, क्लास में दर्द होता है, ठीक है. So the region of the Rajasthan, it is prominent for khair, khijri, babool, neem. So these are the, if you are going to visit the region of Chhattisgarh, MP, then Sagwan, it is a prominent one. Cheed, Devdar, these species are for the Himalayan region. You cannot grow it in this local region. Suppose you are going to grow this sort of a trees, because Sagwan tree is a very valuable good. It is going to fetch you more prices. Sandalwood or the red Saunders. Pushpa dekha hai? It is related with the red Saunders only. So that is a very exotic variety. But red Saunder are confined in only one place. That is the region of the Seshachalam hills. It is in the southern Karnataka, northern Tamil Nadu, and part of bit south Andhra. Okay, the region is concentrated there. It cannot be grown anywhere places. But suppose if you are going to clear down that sandalwood, and if you are going to go for the development of mangoes, so species variation has taken place, the original vegetation has changed. Ultimately, there are some species which are invasive in nature. For example, palm oil. So have you seen that tree of a palm? Indonesia has a very prominent cover of palm oil. They replaced their jungle and they went down for the development of palm oil states. हुआ क्या? Land degradation हो गया. Now they have stopped palm oil production. So ultimately, if you are going to change the vegetation completely, it is vegetative degradation. For example, most of the fertile land in UP and Bihar, they have been cut down, forested area, and now it is used for agriculture, growing of wheat, rice, and sugarcane. It is the prominent one. So it has led to land degradation. So if you are going to change the species of that place also, it is going to affect it. उसका मतलब वही है. So 10% has led to the land degradation by the vegetative covers. Climate change. अब देखा फिर से है ना climate change. With the increase in temperature, there is land subsidence, reduction in water table, which leads to land degradation. Overgrazing. Next point. I'm not going to explain this point, overgrazing. It's very simple. Explain करूं? ठीक है. So these are the things. अब इसके impact पे आओ. If the land is going for desertification or degradation, what impact it is going to have? बिल्कुल सही बात. हंस कह रहा है, सही बोला. लिखो फर्स्ट इम्पैक्ट क्लाइमेट चेंज. सेकेंड माइग्रेशन. खराब जगह कोई रहेगा. अब देखा लैंड डिग्रेडेशन लिख रहा है तो माइग्रेशन बिकम अ सब पॉइंट. और माइग्रेशन जब पढ़ा है तो वहां पे क्लाइमेट चेंज के कारण लैंड डिग्रेडेशन था, तो वहां पे लैंड डिग्रेडेशन बिकम्स अ सब पॉइंट. एंड इकोनॉमिक इंपैक्ट, हैम्पर्स द एग्रीकल्चर. It hampers the agriculture and impact the livelihood of rural people. And impact the livelihood of rural people. It leads to water scarcity and is related with, last point, right of the indigenous people. Rights of the indigenous people. Now this is the recent example of Hasdev jungle, Hasdev forest area. ठीक है, Hasdev forest area is located in Chhattisgarh, and in fact Hasdev is the name of a river also in the northern part of Chhattisgarh. That forest area, below it, it is a coal block. So that area has been given to one of the very prominent industrialists in India, Adani ji. उनके अलावा कोई और तो होगा नहीं. And subsequently he has cleared down the forest. Now clearing down of the forest, basically forests are the resource site of the tribal people. They made their houses, they receive all type of foods, the fruits and so on, and they have been relocated. So if in such a manner, if your economic activities are going to degrade the land, it affects the rights of the indigenous people also. Okay, so you can mention that Hasdev, but do not mention Hasdev, Hasdeo, हंसदेव. तो हंसदेव बोलते हैं. HA कहीं कहीं NS भी रहेगा, HANSDEO. छत्तीसगढ़. अभी जैसे कहे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स हुए, फॉर एग्जांपल देयर इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ चार धाम यात्रा. तो ऑल ऑफ योर ट्रीज आर बीइंग क्लियर्ड to make the 4-lane roads. Okay, even in Chhattisgarh, the inner corridor project is there to clear down the roads. We are making super highways. Ultimately, क्या होगा? You can see the increase in landslide in your Himalayan region. हाँ, landslide. It is also one of the region of degradation. अरे impact नहीं है, reason है. Landslides. चलो, तो what we should do? We must decrease the soil erosion, loss of soil fertility and so on. So government has launched many different programs. ठीक है, government initiative. Desert development program हो गया फेल. ठीक है, गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज पता नहीं कैसे क्या बनाता है, डोंट नो. पॉलिसी क्या आप ही लोग जाके बनाओगे. It was initiated in 1995 to rejuvenate, started in 1985 to rejuvenate the natural resource base of identified deserts. Of identified deserts of Rajasthan, Gujarat and Haryana. Next, integrated watershed management program. Integrated watershed management program. It aims to restore ecological balance by harnessing, conserving, and developing degraded natural resources and creating employment in rural areas. So what is watershed? Any idea? And how it is going to create employment? चलो ठीक है. There is a mountain range. We have to study in climatology. ठीक है. The winds are going to blow on one side. The side on which the winds are going to blow, it is going to have rainfall. This is termed as windward side. The other side where there is no rainfall, it is termed as leeward side. So what is watershed? Watershed is basically a mountain range which creates a water divide. One side there is a rainfall, another side there is no rainfall. So if there is a rainfall, there is a concept of numerous stream which collects and then funnel out water as a river. So if we can going to develop this watershed system, then this watershed can be used for fishing, it can be used for recreational activities, swimming and so on, water sports जो जाते भी हैं लोग. At the same time, this watershed can provide water in the local mountainous region. This water can be utilized for the agriculture practices in the mountainous region, because mountains they are having very less water resources. So if this is going to occur, then employment opportunity will be there for Uttarakhand or Himachal. Then why they are going to migrate towards the अर्बन सेंटर? कोई ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, आपने अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट तो वहीं क्रिएट कर दिया. So that's why this is to create the employment in the rural areas of the mountainous region. At the same time, this water can be used to generate the natural resources also. Okay? So this is the thing. Third one is National Afforestation Program. National Afforestation Program. Obviously, implemented from 2000 onwards. क्या करना है? Afforestation करना है. And recently, if you are going to visit metro, there are posters that we have to plant some 28 crores of tree. So it is being taken care of by this organization only. It is being implemented by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Then there is National Action Program. National Action Program to combat desertification. अच्छा देखो कितना अच्छा है. 1995 में क्या किया? डेजर्ट डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम. उसी को रीब्रांडिंग करके 2001 में क्या कर दिया? नेशनल एक्शन प्रोग्राम टू कॉम्बैट डेजर्टिफिकेशन. हुआ क्या? कुछ नहीं. The last one is National Mission on Green India. Initiated in 2014 with the objective of protecting, restoring and enhancing India's diminishing forest cover. Diminishing forest cover with a deadline of 10 years. पूरा होना था 2024. Now let's see when the report is going to come. I think after the budget, then I can give you the data. ना आज नहीं हो पाएगा. व्हाट इज द टाइम नाउ? चलो एक छोटा टॉपिक है, लेक सुनामीज. लेक सुनामी. It is T. So it is a Japanese word. What is tsunami? It means harbor wave. Sit down. Tsunami. It means harbor wave. In the region of Alaska and the region of permafrost, the melting of ice has initiated the process of landslides. In the nearby lakes. The risk of Alaskan lake tsunami is highest. In some cases, the region of the earthquake also leads to landslide in lakes, which causes tsunamis or lake tsunamis. They are emerging climate-linked hazard. They are emerging climate-linked hazard. बस इतना ही. Now we are left with the two topics, but they are bigger one. मतलब आज नहीं हो पाएगा. I don't think we are going to finish it. Biofuels. No, lake burst is different. See, so there is a different mechanism of tsunami. ठीक है. मैं बता देता हूँ, लिखवाऊंगा नहीं. That is a part of your class. See, what is going to happen? This is coast, and tsunami can be caused by many factors. It can be big landslide, ठीक है, or there is groundwater, volcanic eruption, but mainly it is the plate tectonic factor, faulting factor. ठीक है, तो प्लेट टेक्टोनिक मत पूछना, 4 घंटे का लेक्चर है. So what is going to happen कि along the fault line an earthquake is going to occur. ठीक है. See, there is a universal truth in geography that as you are going to move upward, pressure is going to decrease. As you are going to move towards the center of the earth, pressure is going to increase. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पर high pressure है. So there is intensity, and with that magnitude, the energy during the earthquake is released. As it moves upward, it is moving from high pressure to low pressure. So its intensity is also increasing. This is your water level. So what is going to happen if it is going to occur in a big ocean? Its energy is being released. Then water is going to increase its depth at this place. So when it is going to hit the surface, there will be an upward movement of water. So from the shore, from the ये बना तो शोर लाइन बनाना पड़ेगा. The depth has increased, तो पानी तो कांस्टेंट है, तो from the shoreline the water is going to recede. तो इफ देयर इज सडन रिसीडिंग डाउन, क्योंकि वाटर इंक्रीज यहां पे हुआ, इट इंडिकेट्स द कमिंग ऑफ द सुनामी. ठीक है, दिस हैपेंड ड्यूरिंग द 2004 सुनामी. एज वी आर नॉट accustomed to that only, it occurred in some 2004, 26th December as to be precise. So when the water recedes, what happened? People were very amazed. Again, we are Indian. In a catastrophic or any some destructive situation, we take down the pictures. अभी घर में आग लग जाएगा तो क्या होगा? भागना चाहिए. There is a specific case of a gelatin blast. Gelatins are the rod which is used in mining. That blast occurred in, I think, Indore, or I'm forgetting the place. You just write down the gelatin blast. ठीक है? So there was a first blast. It occurred in a restaurant. Few people died. Again, few of them visited there. Again, the cylinder got blast. Again, few people died. Shivakashi, it is in Tamil Nadu, right? And it is known for पटाखा नहीं जलाया कभी, मुर्गा छाप. It is known for that fireworks. ठीक है. So it occurred in some 2016 or 17. मुझे वो याद नहीं है कब था. So there was a fire. You won't believe it, 53 people died who have visited that place to see how the fire burns. It is being reported in Hindu. So we are Indians, तो हमने क्या किया? जैसे हुआ तो हम फोटो लेने चले गए, and that video is there. ठीक है? But this is not the width is going to increase, but obviously the wavelength of the tsunami. Wavelength is the difference between the two crest and the two trough. It is approximately 120 kilometer. इतना ज़्यादा बड़ा होता है. And the height of the wave in the deep oceans, ठीक है, it is only up to 3 to 4 meter. तो यहाँ पे impact पता नहीं चलेगा. But as the wave is going to move towards the coastal land, ठीक है, it is going to crash down to the continents. यहाँ पे टकरा गया. So there is a phenomenon called wave shoaling. ठीक है. Now if this wave is compressed, क्या होगा? एनर्जी तो इसमें है, but it is being obstructed by huge land mass. It cannot lead to displacement of the major land mass. छोटा मोटा तो ठीक है, आइलैंड इधर उधर कर देगा. इसको कैसे हटाएगा? So when wave is compressed, the energy is transferred on increasing the altitude and your lambda is compressed. So the tsunami, which is having a height of only 3 to 4 meter, it is going to be around 30 meters. That is 10 stories building height. And you can see that video, it is available on YouTube. जैसे ही आया सब फोटो खींचने लगा, और जब वेव आया तो फिर यहां नहीं, सीधा ऊपर गया. तो दैट इज द रियलिटी. ठीक है. ह्यूमन इकोनॉमी में यही मजा है. इंडियंस पढ़ेगा ना तो बड़ा मजा आएगा, खासकर पॉपुलेशन. इतना कैसे हो गया आज तक नहीं पता चला. एनी मोर क्वेश्चंस? सो प्रिपेयर फॉर मेंस. प्री के लिए मत प्रिपेयर करो, प्री भी नहीं निकलेगा. एंड रिमेंबर वन थिंग कि यूपीएससी इज डिफरेंट गेम. वी आर गोइंग टू प्रिपेयर फॉर 1 year 2 year, बट इन 2 years it will be a 5-year plan. My 3 students, ex-students, are giving their exam, but they have already invested 4 years. अभी तक मेंस नहीं क्लियर हुआ है. तो मेंस के लिए पढ़ो, और क्लियर करने के लिए. पीटी क्लियर करके कुछ नहीं होगा.
Recording stopped.